It's about that time to rippity-rip. Get on the Bitcoin rocket ship. Seatbelts please, we're ready to leave. It's time to rippity-rip. Up to the moon, lickety-split. Party on the Bitcoin rocket ship. The price is ripping, ship is tripping. We're loving the rippity-rip. It's about that time to rippity-rip. Get on the Bitcoin rocket ship. Seatbelts please, we're ready to leave. It's time to rippity-rip. We all surf the orange wave, the US dollar in its grave. Godzilla, Omega, massive candle. How much pump can you handle? It's about that time to rippity-rip. Get on the Bitcoin rocket ship. Seatbelts please, we're ready to leave. It's time to rippity-rip. It's time to rippity-rip. Orange raindrops nourish the earth. Bitcoin freedom, what is it worth? More than dollars, more than gold. Showering massive wealth untold. Wonder has us in its grip. Don't wanna see no dippity-dip. Flying high, all-time high. We're loving the rippity-rip. It's about that time to rippity-rip. Get on the Bitcoin rocket ship. Seatbelts please, we're ready to leave. It's time to rippity-rip. It's time to rippity-rip. It's time to rippity-rip. It's time to rippity-rip.
Oh, Arnie boy, we had him for 5 seconds. I got an eyelash in my eye. Hello out there. We're on the air. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. Oh, look at this. We got a zap to start the day for Fat Zap Friday. Let me update the I was just running up and down the stairs. Fat Zap Friday, folks. Here we go. And we got a zap to start the show today from Tom. 555 sats. Good morning. Thank you, Tom. Good start to the show. Good start to the show. And we got Letha over there as well. Good morning, Letha. All right, so we got the Zap streams humming. We got the YouTube Zap streams running. So let's make it fucking rain today. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Bitcoin Journey. Let me get some light in here. This show focuses on actionable and logical discussion for Bitcoiners and for future Bitcoiners. So pretty much for everybody, because if you're not into Bitcoin yet, you will be soon. That is a promise. That is my promise to you. Okay. Well, let's just have a good show today. I honestly don't know 100% what we're going to be talking about today. I think we're just going to let this one kind of let it ride. If you guys and girls are okay with that one. It's not that I didn't have time to prepare today. I did. I had plenty of time. It's just that there's just so many things to talk about, and I could sit here and tell you something, but that doesn't mean that that's what you want to be listening to today. So I'm just kind of going to let it's like goosebumps today. Choose your own adventure. So we'll start with a couple things and we'll see where it leads. So good morning, Killer 76. Good morning. Clean your machine. It's Friday. Let's go. Good morning. Santino. Happy Bitcoin Friday, everyone. Santino was featured yesterday on the Daily Bitcoin Journey with a question about wallets. Question about the wallets. Good morning, Jason. Good to see you, buddy. Buck 52,000. Ian, good morning, gang. Arnie, Jor. Timber Crasher, good morning, Bitcoiners. And Duncan is in the chat too, a couple Bitcoin journeymen here. We got Mert. Hello. And we got another Zap. Letha. Oh, I love when the screen lights up. Best thing. And another one, back-to-back Zaps for Fat Zap Friday. We got 888 sats. I really want, I listened to a show, I forget what it's even called, but I hear, I listen to it every week. It's a weekly show on Bitcoin. And he goes through all the comments. He does I think it's only podcast, so he doesn't do a YouTube show. It's only podcast. It's very edited, but it's good. It's very entertaining, very informative. But every time that somebody sends in a different Zap, he has a different sound thing for it, which I think is really cool. I get pretty entertained by that. He has like different sound clips based on what the Zap is. I wish I could start doing that, but a little bit out of my realm, and I got a lot of things going on. So we will, we'll maybe get to that someday. But we got 888 sats from the YouTube, from this one. And we got 888 sats from the Zap stream. Daniel, for Fat Zap Friday. Thank you, my friend. All right, that's a good start. That's a good start. We got more to go, but that's a good start. Timber Crasher, Fat Zap Friday. Drop a like and zippity a zap and watch the price rippity rip. God, that's a good song, eh? That is such a good song. That's my favorite. I got a lot of favorites from the Bitcoin Amigos albums, but Rippity Rip is my favorite. Locks Guy, good morning. Good to see you. And we got Aeon. Man, this eye is going to bug me today. I can feel it. I'm going to try to persevere, but this eye is going to be bugging me. We're going to pump. Ian says, orange hoodie is out. This must be serious. Good morning, Lori. And Ian says the same, orange hoodie. Yeah, I usually wear this when I'm feeling really, really bullish, super bullish, and I am today. I mean, how could you not be? That's the question. As Kyle says here, SAB 121 equals bullish. It's the most bullish thing. To me, it's much bigger than the strategic reserve. Much bigger. Good morning, Parker. Well, let's talk about that quickly. So SAB 121, that is, I don't know the whole thing there, but it was basically a bill that it's about the banks custodying Bitcoin. And from what I understand of it, it got passed through Congress. I think it was actually to repeal it. That's what got passed through. It got through the whole process, ended up on Sleepy Joe's desk, and between naps and ice cream and his pudding, he vetoed it. So he said, no, sorry, banks aren't allowed to hold Bitcoin. Sorry. Back to sleep. And then it was repealed yesterday, rescinded, revoked, reversed, whatever you want to call it, which means that banks can now hold Bitcoin. And this is the biggest deal in Bitcoin right now, in my opinion, because not only are banks going to start holding Bitcoin for people, but they're going to start buying the shit out of Bitcoin. And it was announced yesterday. Of course, the price goes down. That's what happens every time there's a massive announcement like this. But you have to understand that it was announced, I think, at about 4 or 5 p.m. yesterday. Banks are closed, which is hilarious. But the banks are closed. And I'm sure it'll take some time for them to actually implement this into their current business model. So there will be a delay here. But when the banks are able to start buying Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin for people, which will take time, this isn't something that's a light switch. It turns off and on. And that's what, but the thing is just like the expectations that people have in their mind about how this should go is so different than the reality of things. But anyways, the banks are now able to hold Bitcoin. And I saw a few tweets yesterday. It's like, I thought Bitcoin was designed to eliminate the banks. And I'm like, you know what? I get it. I mean, most people don't spend 6, 7, 8, 10 hours a day listening, talking about, thinking about Bitcoin. I get it. But Bitcoin is not designed to eliminate banks. Bitcoin is designed to eliminate central banks. And there's a big difference there. Central banks are the ones who are able to create money. Central banks are the ones who have controlled this world for at least 111 years since the Fed was created in 1913. That's the problem here. The bank on your street corner, that's okay. The banks are going to be there. The smart ones anyways, the ones who actually start buying Bitcoin and embracing it, focusing on it, they're going to do very well. That's kind of going to be the trend between companies, between financial advisors, and between banks, and also governments. We're going to see that play out for the next decade. You have to remember that these entities move very slow, but the ones who are able to move a little bit faster are going to be light years ahead of those who are slower. And the last ones to adopt this, again, between financial advisors, banks, businesses in general, and countries, are going to be the ones that fail. It's going to have nothing to do with their products and services. It's going to be everything to do with how quickly did they embrace Bitcoin. So SAB 121, it is the news. It is the thing that we should be talking about. But again, most people don't give a shit right now. It's just where we are in the adoption cycle. So I think if you understand that, then things make a little bit more sense. Anyways, we got another 888 sat zappity zap. That looks like it was from Zapstream, from Bodie. And we got one from Duncan as well, rippity rip. And Spaceman. Duncan was 888, Spaceman 220. Look at that. What a crew on Zapstream this morning. Cheers to Zapstream. You guys are showing up today. You guys are the real MVPs. Although I can discriminate against YouTube too. We got a couple from this one, but Zapstream is pulling the weight today so far for Fat Zap Friday. Bodie's on both. Look at that. That's the MVP. You're on Zapstream and YouTube. That's the MVP. Bitcoin Generations. We did a show yesterday. Highly suggest watching that one. We talked a little bit about Noster. Actually, too much about Noster, probably. Talked about Noster for about 20 minutes. But as mentioned on the show yesterday, if you are somebody who's looking to get into Noster, I suggest every person who's ever watched one of these videos does. Any person who has at least one sat should be on Noster. And we spent about 20 minutes talking about it yesterday. So from a very basic view. So if you are new to Noster, if you want to check that out today, you can find that either on my channel, but go check out Bitcoin Generations channel and make sure you're subscribing over there. So that's, and we also talked about wallets, hot wallets, cold wallets, our wallets that we recommend, and a bunch of other stuff too, especially if you're new into Bitcoin. The show basically focuses on two things. Number one is baby boomers. That's kind of the target audience there, but also people who are just getting into Bitcoin. So we gave some really good advice in terms of if you're brand new to Bitcoin, you got a lot of money to drop into Bitcoin. I kind of laid out a plan for you of how to get started. All right, what else do we have here? We got another one. We got 1,000 sats. I'd say we'll call 1,000 sats a fat zap. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go anything 888 sats and above is going to be a fat zap. Which, to the average person, that's 80 cents and $1. But to me, it's a big deal. So thank you. And that's from, looks like Duchess, I'm guessing. To Arnie and the Rescue Dogs from Lucky the Dog. Yes. Thank you. And I also see Super Chat here. Look at that. Double. We got Zaps and we got Super Chats. That is, that's what you want. So Duchess, good morning, Jor, and Arnie, and a little Super Chat there. Thank you. Very, very much appreciated. All right. See what else we got here. We got Rick says, have you smashed a like yet? That's a good question. It's a great question, Rick. Craig says normal Zap's broken for him. What the heck? That must be the 10 firewalls and VPNs you got going on. Craig. Oh, man. Craig, if you ever want to learn something, just talk to Craig for a couple minutes. I'm very, very grateful to have met Craig, that's for sure. And Craig, myself, and other people within the Living in the Future and in this community here. I know maybe even if you don't know it yet, you're going to play a massive part in the future here of not so much Bitcoin adoption, but Bitcoin security. Oh, look at this. Arnie heard we were getting some zaps and decided to show up. Hi, buddy. Oh, you got some dirt on your tongue. Oh, you're such a bugger. Oh, man. He every day, I don't know, at this time he just goes over. We have a huge plant. If you follow me on Noster, you've seen the plant, but it's one of those ones with the bird of prey. I forget what they're called. It's a huge plant, massive. And anyways, every day I do a show for the last couple of weeks, he just gets in there. He starts eating some dirt, and we give him shit. I have a hard time now that he's out of his puppy stage. I have a hard time like getting really mad at him anymore. So it's like, if that's the worst thing that he does is eats a little bit of dirt out of the plant, I don't really give a shit. So it's hard for me to like be mad at him because I know that there's a lot worse things that he could be doing. But at the same time, it's fucking annoying because we got to sweep it up after every time. So he just walked in here. It was like he was just showing me that he had some dirt in his mouth. Bugger, he had like a piece of dirt hanging from his mouth. Anyways, oh, here's a fat zap. 5,500 sats. Says, love you, Fred. Thank you, Fred. 5,500 sats. That's a fat zap. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's see how we're doing on. Oh, I see Jeff Booth replied to my Noster post. How about that? How about that? Noster is not only a great place to earn some Bitcoin, to add value to the world, to meet other Bitcoiners, but it is the only place where you're going to get a reply from Jeff Booth, Matt Odell, Preston Pish, Jack Mahlers. Who else is on there? I don't know. Tons. But I'll maybe read that in just a sec here. Just let me check on see how we're doing. Now that we got Rick's comment up on the screen. All right, we got 65 people in here and we have 31 likes, less than half. Pitiful. But anyways, that's a reminder for you. The co-founder of Ledger was kidnapped a week ago. Was that true? I saw that. I saw there was some weirdness with that though too. So I don't know. I didn't look too far into it, to be honest with you. Don't have enough info. Yo, Gore, morning Bitcoiners from Jose. Good morning, Jose. And we got Pipeline says, hey, Jor, I recently found 2 Bitcoin related products and you probably have heard of both. But the first one is River High Yield Savings Account, which pays 3.8%. I have heard of that. And I'm a big fan of River. I've never used them before, but I will say that the people who I trust in Bitcoin like River. I will say that I love the fact that they have proof of reserves. That's a big one, huge one, actually. I love the fact that they have that new force field product, which I don't know a whole lot about. I understand that it actually takes about a week for the Bitcoin to go through. So if you got hacked or somebody stole your Bitcoin, you can do a lot in a week. So that's a big deal. And I think that's going to become more popular within Bitcoin. The cool thing about Bitcoin is that you can actually, it's programmable money. So you can put stuff, you can program stuff like that into the transactions itself. I think we should really try to, and there's a lot of Bitcoiners who feel this way, but I think we should try to keep it as like, as layer one, as what would you call it? As like unchanged as possible. There's a word for it. I just can't think of it right now. But anyways, things like that are cool. Plus like time locks. If you have it in your will, your estate, you can actually time lock Bitcoin where your heirs can't spend it for 20 years. So there's a lot of things you can do with that. So that's those are big ones. And the high yield, of course, 3.8%. So if you're holding cash in there that you're using for your day-to-day expenditures, you can actually earn interest on that, which is pretty cool. 3.8%, and they actually pay you in Bitcoin. So River is one that I do suggest. I know that there are quite a few people in this community who use River. Again, I love, I'd say in North America, I got about 5 exchanges that I like. My favorite is Bitcoin Well, because we don't have River here, but I love Bitcoin Well. I think that Bitcoin Well actually has a lot more features outside of the high yield there than River does. But Bitcoin Well, Bull Bitcoin, River, Strike, maybe 4. Those are the 4 that I love. So eventually here, I want to try to figure out whether it's from somebody in the community here or somebody else, but those are kind of the 4 ones that I want to have like in my resources, links, show notes. Those are the 4 that I suggest. So yeah, pretty cool to see. There's going to be a lot more competition for people who are wanting to wait till the banks get involved, and they can now. Morrow, good morning, Jor. Long time no see. Yeah, no doubt. Where the heck you been? Zane, good morning. Another DCA. That a boy. That a boy. All right, we got some info from Craig and AI. So let's get to this. This is from Cleaner Machine. It says David Bolland, the co-founder of French crypto company Ledger, was kidnapped from his home in Moreau, central France, on January 23rd, 2025. He and his wife were taken by armed assailants early in the morning and held for ransom, with the kidnappers demanding a significant amount in cryptocurrency. During the ordeal, is it Bolland? I don't know. Bolland suffered severe injuries, including mutilation of his hand, which was reportedly used as a threat to pressure for ransom payments. The rescue operation involved France's elite national intervention group, which successfully located and freed Bolland and his wife after extensive police work. Bolland was found alive but required medical attention due to his injuries. His wife was rescued shortly after, also unharmed, but bound 1234. The police arrested 10 suspects connected to the kidnapping, indicating the case is being treated as a part of a larger organized crime investigation. Oh, that hurt the eyes. Can't even see anything right now. Woof. All right. Well, thank you for that, Craig. And AI, I'm thinking. But that's the update on. That's kind of scary. Kind of scary, and absolutely something that the cool thing for us right now, honestly, is that we do have the opportunity here. We have the opportunity in the sense that not a whole lot of people know what's going on. So we both have an opportunity to buy Bitcoin, but we also have the opportunity to prepare for when these are real threats to us. Because these aren't, honestly, like as a public guy in Bitcoin, even though, oh, speaking of that, my channel just hit 8,000 subscribers today. So that's pretty cool. Pretty good number, 88 sats. So, but anyways, very small channel overall, but still public, right? And, you know, I think about it sometimes, and at the same time, I don't think that we're there yet. But that's the opportunity here. We do have the time right now to both accumulate sats as much as we can, but also prepare for stuff like this. We're going to keep seeing reports of this around the world, and we can learn from it ourselves. And when you're first getting into Bitcoin, you want to focus on buying. Then you want to get it into your own custody. But then you want to get to a point where if somebody came to your house, they couldn't do anything. They could not do anything. Not that you're going to tell them you can't do anything, but they actually can't do anything, because there's a big difference there between you just telling somebody that they can't do something, knowing that you actually can, versus there's literally nothing that I can do right now. There's a big difference there. There'll be a difference in your tone, in your assertiveness through the situation. That's a big deal. Plus, just making sure that nobody can get into your house, or, you got to be thinking about this stuff. You have to be. And there are things that you can do that can alleviate some of this. So don't like, this isn't meant to spread fear. This is meant to just get you to start thinking about it and start taking actionable steps towards that slowly. But you have to be thinking about it, and you have to be preparing for it. Because even though you got, let's say, $50,000 worth, half a Bitcoin or a full Bitcoin, maybe even a couple Bitcoin, and you're like, yeah, it is what it is. It's not that big a deal yet. But when we 10x from here, when we 50x from here, that's a big deal. And when that happens, you're not going to have the time to start resetting things and getting on the right track. You got to do that today. All right. Greetings from PR. What's PR? Puerto Rico? Roadblocks now removed. Sailor's wishes. Yeah. Roadblocks are removed. That's going to be big. I think it's going to be, I'm very interested to see how that plays out. Anyways, Letha said, I heard they mailed his finger. Wow, that's disgusting. Disgusting stuff. We got a zap from My Path to Fire, 100 sats, and a fat zap, 2,100 sats from this one. And I'm thinking I know who it was. I'm thinking it was Craig, but I'm not 100% sure. Yep, there we go. Confirmed. Arnie insurance on the way. The MicroStrategy analysis on premiums was well thought out yesterday. Thank you, Craig. I was meaning to talk to you about that to see if there was anything that I missed there. I got a lot of comments from that on the MicroStrategy video. Actually, the majority of them were on my Bitcoin Journey account, not this account. I think there was like 70 comments on. YouTube's weird, man. YouTube's weird. That one had no thumbnail, different title, and it got like 5 times more viewers and 5 times more comments on it. So there was a lot of people who agreed. There was a lot of people who disagreed. That's part of it, though. I didn't see any comments that were really like, that meant a lot to me, that changed my mind. We'll say that. So Kai says, how do you guys distinguish between comfort zone and peace? Not sure what that means. Comfort zone and peace. Is that like in our own life? Like, we're not talking war, peace. We're talking like, being comfortable in life. I don't know. I'm not sure, Kai, if you're still in the chat, maybe reiterate on that. How do I say this? Majes? A true strategic Bitcoin reserve from Congress will be big. SAB 121 is huge. President's Working Group, not so much. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that too. What's going on here? We got some duplication. Santino says, do you have the capability of creating a poll where we could vote live? I think it would be a fun feature for everyone in the chat on any future questions or opinions. That's a good question. I don't know how to do that. I think I could do it within, but I don't stream directly from YouTube. That's a problem. I don't know how to do it. Sorry. Banks will find a way to screw people over. I mean, you're probably not wrong. But the fact that banks can now hold people's Bitcoin is going to be a big thing for people, especially baby boomers. So, I mean, longer term here, this is kind of how I see this whole thing playing out. So that what's going to happen is like the banks are going to start holding Bitcoin. They're going to start buying Bitcoin as well. The banks, I think in like a decade from now, nobody's going to know how much cash they have on hand. It's going to be completely irrelevant. Every bank is going to be fighting to get as much Bitcoin as they can. That's it. That's going to be the only metric. And when banks are fighting to get Bitcoin on their treasury in their reserves, then not only is the price going to go up, but think about it from like somebody who has Bitcoin right now. You're going to be able to go to the bank and say, here, you can hold 1/10 of my Bitcoin, but you're going to have to pay me for it. And so you'll be able to go and deposit Bitcoin, or you'll be able to go and say, here, I need a loan. Give me some of those fake dollars. I don't want to spend my Bitcoin. Give me the best rate possible. Otherwise, I'll take my Bitcoin elsewhere. And if you think that that's a stretch, like that, not only are you going to be able to loan against your Bitcoin, you're going to get the best rate possible with the banks. Let's say that the second best collateral out there is land, and you're getting 3% loan for land. Bitcoin, you're probably going to get 0.5%. Honestly. So, I mean, they might screw people over. Banks have always screwed people over. I mean, the big ones anyways, like the fact that I think JP Morgan made $500 billion in 2021 after the pandemic just on bank overdraft fees. So people who didn't have enough money to pay their bills, they made $500 billion off of them. How fucking sick is that? And 500 billion, again, this is a live show. I don't have any scripts. I don't have any numbers prepared. I think it was a large amount. It might have been 10 billion. Who cares? Doesn't matter. It's a lot of money that they stole from people who don't have any money. Very important for banks to show proof of reserve, 100%. That's why I like River. They show proof of reserves. And the people who if you want to compete in the Bitcoin space, you're going to have to show proof of reserves. And that was one of my that was one of my cons from MicroStrategy yesterday. Yeah, Saylor comes out with a tweet every week and says, well, we got 400,000 Bitcoin this week, folks. But it's like, do you? Do you? And then people the MicroStrategy, and I'm a shareholder myself. I have a big portion of my net worth is in MicroStrategy. But it's like the people who defend MicroStrategy are like, well, that would be a weakness for him. That would give away his plans. That would give away his privacy. I'm like, no. MicroStrategy's entire fucking valuation is based on them holding Bitcoin. That's it. Their software company makes like $10 a year. This is the only thing that matters, and they are refusing to show that the Bitcoin exists, that they have access, that they have the addresses to that Bitcoin. That's a problem to me. And if it's not a problem to you, you need to look in the mirror and say, what do I understand what's going on here? What am I doing here in Bitcoin? If I'm just going to trust somebody out there who has a big following and is on MSNBC all the time that he has Bitcoin, I don't know. And don't get me wrong, I'm not doubting the fact that they do. That's what I want. That's the point that I want to make. They are a public company. They are audited. They do provide quarterly updates with audited financial statements. But still, the whole point of Bitcoin is that you don't have to trust anybody and somebody's like, well, they get audited. And I said, who's auditing the auditors though? Bitcoin doesn't need auditors. That's the entire point of it. So I do think that we need to normalize proof of reserves. And when we do normalize proof of reserves, that's when we're going to see the true price of Bitcoin. Because that's when people are going to realize how scarce this asset really is. Oh, look at this, Craig. All right, I got to top up my balance here. Hold on. I need a second anyways. I need a breather. I don't know what's going on. I get been so fired up lately on this show. And I think the reason I'm so fired up is because like there's no chance, there's no different scenario that could be better than the one we're in right now. None. Zero. And people are still finding things to bitch about. And I'll talk about that in a sec. But Plunger's up to 1,000 sats. Thank you, Plunger. Appreciate that, my friend. And Craig has shared a poll for us here. How do I do that? Probably need an account. Okay, well, we can do that in the future. Should we try one now? I probably unlimited polls and participants. Okay, sign up for free. Well, we might as well do it while we're live. Jor, I want to put that email in there. What should we do for a poll? $12 seconds. Okay, it said you can sign up. It'll only take you 12 seconds. It took me about 15, but I'm also live. Okay, so now I have to go activate my account, for fuck's sakes. Okay, what should we do for a poll right now? Oh, I'm missing some super chats here. Sorry. Holy. All right, let me get this updated, and if you guys think of a poll that we want to do, just throw it in the chat. That's still kind of loading. So, yes, transparency, open source. This is the way. 100% agree with that. Yeah, agree. This tells you everything you need to know about Bitcoin. The first Genesis block of Bitcoin. Chancellors on the brink of second bailout for banks. Timestamp, Satoshi left in the Genesis block hints at their motive for creating the digital currency. Yep. Jason says, so how do we guard against rehypothecating Bitcoin if banks hold? Proof of reserves. Proof of reserves. That's the key. We got C29 Rome says like 22. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting the show. Every zap, every like, every comment in the chat, every new member on the channel, that is an investment in Bitcoin, because we are all on Team Bitcoin. That's it. There's no red, there's no blue. There is only orange, and we are all on Team Bitcoin. Hey, Bit Billy. Hey, good morning, 88 sats. Let's go. Good morning, Bit Billy, the record holder for the highest zap of all time on both 88 sats, Daily Bitcoin Journey, and on the Bitcoin Amigos. Bit Billy is currently at the top with some fatty zaps. Arnie's the man. Yes, Arnie, well, when he's not eating dirt, he's the man. All right, this is a good question from Santino. Jor, how much time do you think we have to buy Bitcoin at these cheap prices before Senator Lummis and Trump finalize deal to buy Bitcoin? I think that's one thing we really need to dial in on this show. I think we have to understand the implications of the US government buying Bitcoin. Like, it sounds great in theory, and people who hold Bitcoin are like, oh, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, it's going to happen eventually. It's game theory. My Bitcoin, my net worth is going to go up 10, 20, 30x. Awesome. But in my opinion, I am in zero rush for them to start buying Bitcoin. And as this question suggests, how much time do we have to buy Bitcoin at these cheap prices? Once you start seeing the US government buy Bitcoin, it's over. It's over. And so you kind of have two options here. And I think that Bitcoiners love to preach about a very low time preference on things until it affects them, until they lose their patience, until it directly affects them, in other words. So you kind of got two different camps here. Like somebody who's very high time preference with no patience, that just want to see their number go up on their phone screen. That's who's rooting for this to happen soon, whether they know it or not. That's what their perspective is. The other side, very low time preference, lots of patience, understands the implications of this. They know that as soon as the Bitcoin strategic reserve kicks in, once the US government starts buying Bitcoin, the average person's out. Any sort of significant amount of Bitcoin that they could have got, it's over. Done. So what kind of world do you want to live in? In a world where the governments have all the Bitcoin, but you're richer? Or a world where we have some time, we can keep getting the little guy into this, the average person, they can get some sats, a piece of the finite pie here for the best asset that's ever existed. And then governments can have whatever's left from that. Me personally, I would much rather, I don't care if it took them 20 years to start buying Bitcoin. I don't. Because if you're truly in this for the long haul, if you're truly in this for your generations, then that's what you want. Because if they wait 20 years to start, they won't. Might be 20 days. But if they waited 20 years to start buying Bitcoin, think about the amount of sats that you're going to get. And unfortunately, we've kind of already missed the window, I think, in terms of like putting a real dent in this thing. But there's still a couple of years of like, well, I shouldn't say a couple of years. There's between now and when the US government starts buying Bitcoin for people to actually make a dent in their family's wealth. So, yeah, I don't know how much time we're going to have. I'm in absolutely zero rush, though. I'll tell you that for free. Because I've been in Bitcoin for 4 or 5 years now. I don't have a lot of Bitcoin. I really don't. And I'm sure if you've been watching the show, you know that. And if you don't believe me, I don't give a shit. But I don't have a lot of Bitcoin. And so the longer we have here to continue adding value, to continue earning fiat or Bitcoin, the better for me it is. I'm not going to sell it. If the government launched it to 5 million a coin tomorrow, I'm not selling it. So I want more of it. I want to accumulate. I want to grow my digital farm. Lapad says, does Craig got a YouTube or something? No, unfortunately, he does not. And he probably never will. He's a very private fella, which I respect. I wish I was a little bit more private. But, I think that his privacy focus is going to be a big driver, and my public focus is going to be a big driver for bringing people in. And then he's going to be able to, we're going to be able to help them, but he's the one with the very intelligent mind. I'm just there for shits and gigs. No, just joking. But that's, I don't think he'll ever have a YouTube. I do want to have like a show with him sometime, just like an audio conversation. Maybe we'll do one of those things like on the news, like, what is it, 22 minutes or 20 minutes? I don't know what it is. I haven't watched the news for probably 5 years. But what's it when they have like just the silhouette and then they change his voice? I think we could do that. All right, Jason, look at this. We got $6.99. Great numbers and very, very nice super chat this morning. Thank you, Jason. Very much appreciate that. Bitcoin at 105 is boring now. Yeah, no doubt. Wow, how far we've gone. Sharia, you were going to talk about MicroStrategy, them redeeming $1 billion to settle all conversion notes, issuing another 0% interest. So I don't know if that's a question. Hey, Bunny. Santino, look at this. This is what I love. This is the kind of stuff that this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. And I should mention something here too, because Santino actually, that's the question we answered yesterday. It was Santino's. They asked about Bitcoin wallets. And I spent about 5 minutes talking about different wallets, my opinion, gave a recommendation. And they just sent some value back, value for value. That's how the world should be. And that's the other thing I was going to say is with Craig, with what we're doing with Bitcoin Citadel, with what we're doing with SuperBack stuff, I do have an option now on my Calendly account, and it's all in the show notes here. All my contact info is, but there's an option there to do value for value. And I was thinking about that last night when I was laying in bed, where I do a lot of thinking. But I've had a couple meetings in the last week with people, like 10, 15, 20 minutes long, where I helped them with something and then never heard from them again. And I was kind of thinking, like, you know, maybe they're just taking their time. Maybe they'll send some Bitcoin or cash at some point. But I also know that there's going to be people who just don't, and that's fine. But I think what I'm trying to say here is that if I was to do this in the fiat system, in the legacy system, if I were to offer like a value for value thing and just put it out there to everybody on Facebook, everybody on Instagram, everybody on Twitter, LinkedIn, I think that there would be about 20% of people who actually pay me for it. The other 80 would just, you know, say, okay, thanks. Have a good day. But in Bitcoin, I think that there's a whole different mentality with people in Bitcoin. I do. And I think it's actually 80% of people will pay, and some more than, you know, I even thought it'd be worth. So 80% would pay, and then there'd be 20% who don't. I think that that's pretty much the case with everything in life, 80-20. But the point here is that there's two different systems. There's two different mentalities for people. And I think that Bitcoiners are the only kind of person that you could actually do a value for value from, because they get it, I think. So that's kind of my, that's something I've noticed here is within Bitcoin. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep doing that because I think it's important. So thank you, Santino, for that. Spaceman says, poll question, do you hold MicroStrategy? Okay, let's try it out. Let's try it out. Because I'm interested in this as well. I know that there's a lot of Bitcoiners who do hold MicroStrategy. Okay, that's not what I want. Schedule a meeting. I don't want to do that. Start your own meeting poll. Okay, so let's do MSTR. I got to be a little bit conscious of time today. MSTR. Next. What the hell is this? I don't want to put this in my calendar. Okay, create a new anonymous poll. There we go. Poll question. Do you hold MSTR? Yes. No. Okay, so I probably have to share the link here. Yeah, this might be tough though, because I don't know if I can share links in YouTube or not. So we'll try it. I'll try sharing this in the YouTube. We'll see how things go here. I'll share it on Zapstream. We'll see how things go and see if we can do this in the future. This is just a test. It's a test poll. All right, so let's go to next. Now let's see the results. Let's monitor the results here. I'll put it up if we get some action here. If not, we'll just forget about it. All right. We have Money Vikings. Love your approach and commentary. One of your SoCal friends here. Man, there's a lot of people from California who watch the show. I've talked to a lot of people from California in the last 2 months. Been investing in Bitcoin for about 6 years and definitely happy to be entering the golden age. Amen to that. Amen. All right. I don't know if this is live or if it's working. Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay. So we got 13 votes so far. 7 yes, 6 no. Okay. So it works. Thank you, Craig. I figured it would. Never doubt Craig. All right. With AI being here, I realize another great reason why owning Bitcoin is imperative. Yeah. The AI are going to be paid in the Bitcoins. Mazeman says, I'm gun shy about interest earning products after my experience with BlockFi. You know what? I'm honestly kind of my longer term plan with Bitcoin, and I'm already kind of structuring this within my own Bitcoin holdings. But I'm going to probably have like 10 to 20% of Bitcoin that I'm going to be comfortable with either lending against or depositing into a bank. The rest of it, they're not going to touch. No chance. There's a small portion of that nobody will ever know I even have, like the non-KYC stuff. There's going to be a portion that some people know that I have that I don't want anybody else to have a key to. And then there's going to be a portion that I'm okay with holding. If I can go get a loan without having to sell Bitcoin, I'll do it. That's a risk I'm willing to take. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be depositing it yet. That's yet to come. It'll really depend on how things go. I'm not going to be like the first person to do it. That's for sure. So, look at this. We got Desiree's Koala Bears, $8.88 sold silver for sats. Hell yeah. Thank you for the super chat there. Plastic, yo plebs, good morning. Why Money Viking says, why do you think the market just kind of shrugged the executive order yesterday from Prez? I thought that was a game-changing moment. Oh man. That's what's bothering me right now. It's just like how many people are bitching about things. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's like people, no matter what, they'll never be satisfied. And I really feel bad for them. That more than anything else, there's some frustration in my voice, you can tell. But like more than anything else, I just really feel bad for them. And regardless of what's going on in your life, I would say that like 98% of things are all your perception on it, the way you look at it, your lens. You could look at anything and you could find the bad in it very easily. Very easily. It's the easiest thing to do. Find the bad in it. Very critical of things. Or you could look at it and say, wow, you got to look a little bit harder, but you can find the good in absolutely every situation. And that's why it's like, okay, if all this is happening and people are still bitching about it, there's nothing in the world that could ever satisfy them. There's not. And I think if people actually just looked in the mirror and said, okay, this is what's happening. Clearly, I'm like unhappy with it. I'm displeased. But what would be the perfect scenario here? Like, what could be better? I don't know. It's bothering me, as you guys can probably tell. Like, let me talk about this for a second longer, because I'm in a group chat with some other Bitcoiners, we'll call them prominent Bitcoiners, and I definitely do not consider myself one, but there are some prominent Bitcoiners within this chat here. So one of the guys was kind of bitching about it. They were kind of going back and forth, talking about, oh, it's a digital asset reserve, or they have shit coins in their holdings here. And someone's like, people refer to it as the strategic Bitcoin reserve, but I think it's going to be the shitcoin, strategic shitcoin reserve. And this is what I said. First of all, I said, Trump's killing it. Don't get caught up in the weeds. Dude is making some very fast moves here, full steam ahead. And they said, well, I'll believe it when I see it. Call me a pessimist. Sorry, not trying to be a Debbie Downer. And I said, like, what do you need to see? I said, I don't give a fuck if the US Reserve is holding Bitcoin. I don't. I actually hope they take longer. But if you look at things objectively here, in the first 3 days of Trump's presidency, the first 3 days, he freed Ross. He made Cynthia Lummis the head of Digital Asset Committee. He repealed the SAB 121. He basically told the World Economic Forum to go fuck themselves yesterday, and the bankers who were sitting on that panel. He ended the Paris Accord. He made it clear that there's two genders, male and female. He declassified the JFK, RFK, and MLK files. He declared an energy emergency with a focus on oil and creating more energy. And most importantly, he brought back the incandescent lights. Or he gave consumers a choice of what kind of car they want to drive, what kind of lights they want to have in their house, what kind of dishwashers they want to have in their house. In 3 days, and I probably missed some there. So it's like, what more could you possibly ask for? Honestly. I just don't get it. I do not get it. BitBilly says 8,000 subscribers. Well deserved, Jor. It's going to keep growing for sure. Thank you, BitBilly. And we got Plastic saying the same. 80,000. I could see it. I could see 80,000 in a year. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I really don't know if that's the best thing. Honestly, it's kind of a dilemma. Love your orange Bitcoin sweatshirt. I'm going to have more of these actually soon. People are going to be able to buy these. My mom's been looking for one of these for about a year now, and I've failed to get it to her. So I'm going to get her one, and I'm going to put some orange hoodies for sale on the show here. Grocery shopping and it's dead quiet. Comfort zone and peace. Did I miss something here with the comfort zone and peace? I don't know. Daniel says Trump has done more in 4 days than Biden did in 4 years. Yeah. It's like, I don't think that comparing Trump to Biden, I mean, yes, it's a no-brainer. Like, that's the easiest thing you can do. I completely agree with Daniel. In 3 days or 4 days, he's done more than Biden did. In fact, Biden took things way far backwards. Trump's fixing the things that Biden did. But I mean, you look at Trump, you compare him to Biden, that's a no-brainer. But compare Trump to any politician in history that's ever existed. That's what you should be measuring him to. And when we have somebody like that you're measuring to that's in charge right now, we're in a pretty good spot. And I love the fact that Trump has a picture of Andrew Jackson in the White House. All the executive orders he was signing when he gave the pen to RFK yesterday. All the background there's one picture on the wall. And that is Andrew Jackson. And Andrew Jackson is most famous for taking down the last central bank that existed. And if you don't think that Trump has like symbolism and stuff like that, again, I got some land or some oceanfront property to sell you in Phoenix, Arizona. People in the U.S. generally don't appreciate how critical Bitcoin is to folks in countries where their currency is constantly debased. I mean, yeah, it happens in the U.S. It happens in Canada. We just see a little bit less of it. That's the problem. All right. Oh, I thought I was catching up, but I'm definitely not. Oh, I see Alien James is back for some more Trump talk today. Can the MicroStrategy purchases be seen on the blockchain? Not yet. Voyager Exchange was publicly traded in Canada and they still went tits up. Yep, that's what I'm saying. Look at Enron. Easy to look back now and forget what happened there. But like Enron, they were a public company. They had auditors. They had quarterly financial statements. And we know what happened there. And I'm not saying MicroStrategy is Enron. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying even at that time, it would have been much more difficult for somebody to verify the fact that Enron actually had this money. But now, Saylor posts it every week on Twitter. So why can't he just share the address where the addresses where the Bitcoin's held? So easy to do. El Salvador does it. Ian says, they do lending and you can double your stack. Also, they do proof of reserve. Okay, I think that's more of in the UK, right, Ian? I'm pretty sure. All right, let's check on the poll here. See how see where we're at. Okay, show result. Oh, we got 9-9. So 9 people hold MicroStrategy. 9 people do not hold MicroStrategy. Bill says only use the banks that have proof of reserves. The rest that don't will have to follow or get no business. Yeah, I agree with that. Dirty Scant, look at that name. When we see true mass peer-to-peer transactions for things of value. All right, Laughpad says, Craig sounds like someone I'd like to have contact with. I really want to bounce ideas off his head around my multi-sig node privacy. I'm also down to have a chat with you, Jor. Really appreciate you a lot. You always bring a sense of urgency and realness. Yeah, I mean, it is. That's a good way to put it. I'm not trying to spread fear here with some sort of agenda. And I think the worst thing you can do in Bitcoin is panic and have fear. That's the worst thing. Whether you're thinking about buying, selling, whether you're figuring out how to manage your Bitcoin and manage your security, the last thing you should be doing is panicking. Honestly, it's not a threat yet. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not a threat yet, but it's going to be. So LaughPad, the one thing I would say is you could either set up a call with Craig and myself to talk about SuperBacked, or you can actually get in touch with Craig and you can do like a value for value with him for like a consultation on your privacy and security. That's what he's going to be offering at Bitcoin Citadel, which I think there's going to be a lot of people that are interested in. So that's, again, if you want more information on that, LaughPad, just shoot me an email and I'll set it up. Whether it's SuperBacked or you just want to talk to Craig, I'm happy to facilitate both. So all the info that you need is in the show notes. The show notes will get you where you want to go. All right, we got another zap here. Look at this. At least one. No, two. Somebody sent 945 sats. That we consider that a fat zap. Anything over 888. That is a fat zap. And somebody sent 420 saying, end the debt slave system, Bitcoin. That looks like it's from Zapstream. Wood Butcher. Thank you, my friend. And Craig says, Lennon was a Canadian that moved to the Cayman Islands. Oh, that's smart. I might be looking for land in the Cayman Islands soon. And yes, this is a great point too. This is a really, really good point from Daniel here. Said, join the Living in the Future community. Craig is there. If you want, if you're a Bitcoiner at any stage, the Living in the Future, we have 2 comments here. 3 live testimonials here. The best value that you'll ever find in Bitcoin, regardless of where you're at, is joining the Living in the Future community. 100%. There's no better value than that in Bitcoin. It's impossible. It's $5 a month for the minimum tier to get into the community there. And I will say this, if you're listening to this right now, be thankful, because I think we have 94 people in the chat today. And when that number gets to 100, I have officially decided that we're going to close that chat off. So we have room for 6 more people right now. What's going to happen after that? I don't know. I'll deal with that when the time comes. But the next 6 people are going to be in the chat. And it's a pretty, there's a lot to catch up on there. There's a lot to keep up with. You can either contribute, you can either ask questions, or you can just be a fly on the wall and see what people are talking about and what people are sharing. So once we get to 100, I'm going to cut it off officially of the chat. I don't know what I'm going to do next, but the maximum in there is going to be 100. And I'll probably do like a rebalancing every month. If somebody happens to leave the chat, then I'll say, we got another spot or 2 open in Living the Future. But that, I think that network there, that community is going to be, do some very big things in the future. So like, aside from the value, aside from like, being able to talk to Craig anytime, and there's some really other very intelligent people in that community. So if you want to join, you can click, I think it says join Living in the Future, and you can go there right now and do it. Andrew says, the crypto executive order signed yesterday says evaluating the creation of a strategic national digital asset stockpile, not a Bitcoin stockpile. Well, it is. Bitcoin's a digital asset, right? Zane says, I know a lot of people don't like Litecoin, but I've been buying that too. It's just a softer version of Bitcoin. Only Bitcoin and Lightning buying for me, but Bitcoin always first. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do. That's for sure. I have a couple Bitcoin that I still have. I don't have it would probably be less than 0.5% of my portfolio, maybe like 0.01% of my portfolio. But I agree. I think the Litecoin is going to be used in the future. and it's probably the closest thing to Bitcoin. But yeah, I have no issues with that. I really don't. I think that probably the biggest issue that I have in Bitcoin right now is the Bitcoin maximalists, honestly. And I consider myself to be like a Bitcoin maximalist in a way, but like people are just losing their fucking minds right now. It's like the Bitcoiners say they like freedom and sovereignty and all this kind of stuff until somebody does something that they don't like. Then it's like, oh, never mind. I only believe in freedom when it agrees with what I think. That's a problem. It's a problem. So I think you're either a Bitcoin maximalist or you're a freedom maximalist. And I'm much more aligned with the freedom maximalists out there. If you want to buy Bitcoin, great. It's voluntary. You can do it. You're going to protect yourself against a devaluing currency forever. Your purchasing power is going to go up forever. Great. If you want to buy Litecoin, you believe in that. You've done some research. You want to hold Litecoin. You're more comfortable using that. Use that. Even if you want to use XRP, I don't give a shit. I really do not give a shit. You can use whatever you want. You can buy whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Do I think it's stupid to do? Yes. But I'm not going to sit here and bitch about it. It has no impact on me. Zero impact on me. What do you do? So I think some Bitcoiners need to take, I don't know. I shouldn't say that, but it's like, who cares? Who cares? Timbercrasher says, it will be cool to get loans from banks holding Bitcoin. I'll probably only ever buy 1 to 2 million sats between two banks and call that good enough forever. 1 million sats will be 1 million USD one day. Truth. Bill says, Timbercrasher, how do you join? You can join with the link. It says join Living the Future. You can actually sign up for 7 days for free, check things out. But I'm going to have to start like waiting 7 days before adding people, because if I had some people to chat and then they cancel it after 6 days, it's awkward to remove them from the chat. So you can either just go full steam ahead in there today, or you can do a free trial. You can check out everything in the community. Some really good, aside from the Signal chat, there's a lot of really good resources in there between the multi-generational wealth, you can pay a little bit more too and do the 365 Bitcoin course, which is 1 Bitcoin video per day for all of 2025. Different topics in order, and we're on day 24 today. So there's lots on there, lots you can do. Buck 52,000 says, if you are the smartest guy in the room, time to find another room. 100%. Yep, this is absolutely true. Banks, financial advisors, countries, companies that don't adopt Bitcoin will fade away. It's truth. That is truth. All right. Sorry, Andrew Jackson. I am for real. Never meant to make your daughter cry. Okay, let's give away some Betty. Oh, we got a new member, Santino. So Santino, unfortunately, that is it's great. I look at the Bitcoin Journeyman on the channel as more as just like a support. You also get all the private videos that we do. But if you want to be in the Signal chat, if you want to get like the multi-generational wealth, all the other stuff, it's Living in the Future on Patreon. But anyways, thank you. I don't know if that was your intention or not, but I appreciate your super chat and your support today. It means a lot to me. Satoshi School. Well, I like that. Says, as a fellow Maple coiner, I like that. Do you think Pierre Poilievre will have a strategic Bitcoin reserve in Canada? I'm scared for this great country's future. Well, don't be scared. What's the point of being scared? I don't know about Pierre. Is he better than Trudeau? Yes. Is he better than Freeland? Yes. Is he better than Carney? Yes. Do we need him to buy Bitcoin ourselves and hold it ourselves? No. That's a cool thing. Like in Canada, our currency has gone down so much in the last couple months for obvious reasons. I'm surprised it hasn't gone down a lot more, actually. But for me, like I get paid in Bitcoin. I get paid in US dollars. And any Canadian dollars I receive, I convert into Bitcoin. So even though the prices are going through the roof here for groceries, gas, heating, everything's getting cheaper for me. And it sucks. It sucks to, see your family, your friends go through what's going on. But at the same time, it's like, I've been trying my hardest here to kind of explain what's going on. And if you don't care to listen to me, then, that's kind of on you. So yeah, Pierre would be great, but we got to look after ourselves first. Letha says there's a Patreon link in the show notes. Yep, correct. Thank you, Letha. Mazeman says, care about American politics, American politics more than most Americans. Well, yeah, I'm directly affected by it, even though I don't get to vote for it. They're pretty big impact on what happens up here. And the crazy thing is, like, Trump in office is actually going to be short-term very bad for Canada. It is. But again, if you're holding Bitcoin or if you're holding US dollars, then you're kind of immune to it. And then longer term, society has already shifted here from like crazy woke to somewhat common sense, and it'll keep going. And then people will start buying Bitcoin, and maybe we'll become the 51st state or 51st, second, third, fourth state. Anyways, let's give away some Bitcoin here. How are we doing for time? 9:30. All right, we're okay. Somebody sent 88 sats to this. $88 sats saying, straight from my own node. Still stoked I can do this. Cat Daddy Soprano. Thank you. And I'm impressed too. That is something everybody should be working towards. Running their own node. Okay, so let's get to a couple things here. There's a little bit of housekeeping I wanted to do about an hour and 12 minutes ago. What was it now? What was it? Hold on, I got to bring up my Obsidian, get my notes out. Oh, I don't know where it is. Okay, well, I'll just wing it, I guess. Okay, so I want to give you three things here. Three things that I'm going to talk about here quickly. So number one is Noster. Again, I talked about this yesterday. I'm going to be talking about this on every show going forward now, because it is absolutely critical that every single person watching the show, every single person who owns Bitcoin gets onto Noster. You can create your own side hustle with Bitcoin on Noster without having to put in your identification, without having to hit so many hours on YouTube or subscribers anywhere. You could get onto Noster. You could make a post today. And probably just by being there, you're going to get some Bitcoin for it. That's just how Noster works. Everybody's very friendly. It's not always going to be like this. It's not like the culture built into Noster. It's just because there's so few people there. It's all people like us. So you join, you make a post, you're going to get some zaps, but then you keep doing it. And you share a picture of, I don't know, a video of your son playing hockey. You share a video of you going through a house that you just designed, or a tip about your pet that worked. Something, anything, doesn't matter. There's no rules. But anything that somebody else might get value from, that's what you share. And when you share that, you can receive Bitcoin instantly. Zero requirements, zero thresholds there. So if you can take the first step of like, okay, this sounds very unfamiliar to me. I have no idea what the hell he's talking about, but try it. You're going to see how easy it is, honestly. If you're on iOS, just go to the App Store, download Damus, D-A-M-U-S. If you're on Android, Amethyst. That's going to be a harder one to spell. A-M-E-T-H-Y-S-T, I think. Amethyst. Get it, create an account. You get a public key and a private key. It's like your username and password. Keep that, store that somewhere safe, and just start posting. Start following people. You can search me on there. You can start following some of the people that I follow on there. the user experience is going to improve. It's not great right now, but that's where the opportunity is. Just like Bitcoin. It's like when it was hard to buy Bitcoin, that's when the opportunity was there. It's still kind of hard, but it's very easy compared to 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So just do it. Get onto Noster. You want to start earning some Bitcoin. You want to transition yourself out of a job. You want to start adding value to people online. You want to start creating content instead of consuming content. Join Noster. And shoot me a message. Shoot me an email. If you're somebody who just signed up in the last couple of days, I'll do you a little favor. I'll send you a zap. Might be a small one because I value sats. But I'll more importantly, I'll say welcome to Noster and boost your account to some people. Help you get some early traction. So just shoot me an email with your NPub. All right, so that's number one. Number two is let's give away some Bitcoin from our friends over at Bitcoin Well. Somebody in the chat is going to be 210 sats richer minimum today. So get your phones out, get your Lightning wallets out, and let's give away some Bitcoin. Ready? Set? I got to plug my phone in here too. Go. $210. Come on, Bitcoin Well. Come on, Bitcoin Well. But I mean, 210 sats. Better than a kick in the ass. So those sats are courtesy of our friends at Bitcoin Well. They do not pay me. They only give sats to the community here, people who watch the show. So if you're not already signed up for Bitcoin Well, today is the best day to be doing that. So let's get that off of there. The reason I use Bitcoin Well, the reason they are my exclusive Bitcoin platform is because of three things. Team Bitcoin, they've been around for a long time, very reputable. They're Bitcoiners, they're Team Bitcoin. And the nice thing about them is I do trust Bitcoin Well, but I don't have to trust them because I send them dollars. They don't hold anything. They don't hold dollars. They don't hold Bitcoin. They just facilitate that. So I send them dollars. They send me Bitcoin. Number two is the fees. They have the lowest fees in North America. And number three is the website itself. If you're in Canada, there's no better, well, US too. I think you have a hard time finding a more robust Bitcoin platform. But if you're in Canada, there's features available to you within Bitcoin Well that are available nowhere else on the planet, including free swaps. Free swap from layer 1 to layer 2. You have no idea how many fees I've wasted through the years swapping from on-chain to Lightning. So you can do it for free with Bitcoin Well. So go to bitcoinwell.com/Jor. Sprinkle some dust on there. And you get 5 free tosses into the well, which is a minimum of what? I don't know. It's hard math. 5 tosses, 1,050 sats. That's got to be right. 1,050 sats minimum for signing up. So there you go. And finally, the last thing I want to mention is if you are somebody who is, wanting to take this stuff seriously, whether that's setting up a hardware device, whether that's running a node, whether that's getting some info on your strategy, your management, your wallets, your UTXOs, or whether you're wanting to take it the furthest step possible with the super-backed security inheritance protocol. We have a new company, a new venture that's launching. It's called Bitcoin Citadel. I'm hoping that the website will be up this weekend or early next week. But we have a group of very, very intelligent Bitcoiners in this group who are willing to help for a set price and for value option. We are going to be very different than any other Bitcoin advisor out there for a few different reasons. One is super back. Nobody else is doing this right now. Second one is the value for value. I don't think anybody else is doing that either. And if you compare our pricing to anybody else out there, it's kind of a joke. And I think that hopefully when we get some traction with Bitcoin Citadel, we're not going to bump our prices up. I'm thinking that hopefully some of the other competitors will bring their prices down because in my opinion, Some of the other places are highway robbery. Highway robbery. And I'm not going to mention names. I'm sure people know who I'm talking about. But Bitcoin Citadel. So anyways, the website is not up yet, but when it is up, I know we're going to be busy and you can get ahead of that. So if you want to set up a call with myself and just see what you need, I can kind of point you in the right direction. Again, all my stuff is in the show notes there. So thank you for that. Again, oh, I missed a couple comments here. What the hell happened here? Ginger, sorry, buddy. I didn't even see your face there. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you. But I don't know. I must have missed a couple here. Anyways, let's keep going here. Whittle Zippy Zap. Okay, I'm thinking somebody sent a zap in here. Maybe that was the 88 sat one. Anyways, let's keep it rolling here. I do have a few more minutes. So if you do have any questions, if you do have any things you want to discuss before we hit the road for the week, keep in mind we also got the Bitcoin Amigo show today, 4 p.m. Eastern time, every Friday with the boys. We got Jerry, we got Chris, Jerry from Jerry Loves Freedom, Chris from Fractal Bitcoin, Jor. We got Barry, which is Chris's producer, and we got Arnie. Those are the 5 hosts of the Bitcoin Amigos. So make sure you go over there. I mean, it's, I hate asking for shit, but it's like between Jerry, Chris, and myself, we probably have about 15,000 subscribers, and there's been 344 people here subscribed to this channel. And so you're not going to get bombarded with stuff or anything. It would just help us grow this faster, get in front of more people, and ultimately grow Bitcoin faster. So if you don't mind, if you could take a couple seconds here right now, just head over to Bitcoin Amigos. You can search it in YouTube. I'll also share it in the chat here, so it's very easy for you. Just click subscribe. We go live once per week, every Friday at 4 p.m. And it would mean a lot to us. And not so much to us, but it's for Team Bitcoin. We're growing this thing, and we do need your help. Whether you think you're part of this or not, watching shows like this, you are. Ron says, really enjoy your show, Jarl. Well, thank you. Thank you. Jeff says, I'm 100% in Bitcoin. That a boy. What else is there? That's the question. That's the question you got to ask yourself. What else is there? All right, Dave Droid says, this is probably a stupid question. Oh, here's the thing, Droid. There is 0 stupid questions other than what, who was that? Who was the dipshit of the day yesterday? Somebody asked me if Trump was my Jesus. That was a stupid question. But if you're actually looking for information, there's no stupid question. What are people using on Windows to access Noster? I'll use Primal on my Android, but I would like to use it on my PC also. Well, that's a really good question. So first of all, if you're on Android, Droid, you should be using Amethyst. It is, to me, it's far superior to Primal. I've had a hell of a time with Primal, honestly. I know there's a lot of big Bitcoiners who love Primal, but I'm not one of them. I'm not a big Bitcoiner, and I don't love Primal. It's just tough, especially here in Canada. It's shitty to use. So Amethyst, that's what I suggest. I just put it in the chat there for you. That's what you should be using. And the cool thing with Noster, if people are kind of unfamiliar with it, you can actually take your login information, your public key, private key that you generated from Primal, that you use with Primal, and you can copy and paste that into Amethyst. And your feed's the same. The people following you are the same. The people you're following are the same. The only difference is features with wallets, with media stuff, with long form posts. All the clients show you the exact same stuff, except they have different features. But I would say the best one to use, Primal is actually a good one. Primal.net is a good one for desktop. But I like Nostrudel. That's a solid one as well. Oh, what the heck? Let me get rid of that. I'll paste that in the chat too. Nostr.ninja. There's communities on there. You can actually watch Zap stream from. Let me show you. Oh, you must be signed in to use this. Okay, that's okay. I'll still show you. So this is no strudel. It looks kind of clunky, but there's a lot of good stuff on here. See, here's the live. You can go to streams right here, and you can actually access Zap stream from no strudel if you want to. So you can see the chat there, but there's a lot of good not signed in. This is like Twilight Zone stuff right now, so we're going to take that off. But there's streams on there. You can go to communities. I think you have to be signed in for a lot of this stuff. I'm not signed in right now. But yeah, this is probably like the most in-depth Noster client that exists, which is nostrudel.ninja. Like there's so much stuff on here. There's almost too much stuff on this. But yeah, so you can sign in with use something like, what do I use here for it? NOS2X. So you can actually get you can't see that, but it's a browser extension. And you can see, you can basically just sign transactions. You can sign in with it without having to copy and paste your private key all over the web. You can use a browser extension like NOS2X. I'll put that in the chat too. So you're getting a lot of information today, a lot of stuff going on. But it's part of it. It's part of it. And again, with security, with Noster, with all this kind of stuff, the most important thing is that you just take it slow, one thing at a time. But yeah, NOS2X, that's what I use for my browser extension to sign into different clients. Hope that helps. Anything but Bitcoin is an unregulated security pump and dumps. Well, that's not necessarily true. According to Craig, I believe it was, meme coins are actually not considered a security. But I know what you're saying. What did I miss here? Mike says, where's the link for the chat? What chat? For Signal? When you sign up as a member, I'll send you an email with how to join. Not like instantly. It's just me. It's just me running the show here. But at some point, what's my Noster profile? You can actually find my Noster profile in the show notes as well. It starts with npub. So you could try searching for Jor, or you can go into my description here and find my npub. Stack them sats, brosies. Yes. Amen. Amen to that. Okay, let's Mike signed up. That a boy. Do I have a referral code for Bitcoin? Well, yes. Oh, found it. Okay. I'm trying to keep up here. I'm trying my best. Okay, Purple Onion says, looks like Bitcoin Well is about to allow recurring purchases for US users. Just need them to allow for Lightning wallets and I'll switch to them from Strike. I thought that you could do Lightning withdrawals in the US. It might depend on what your state though. I think that that's how it is in the US. I'm not 100% sure, but I have talked to people within the US who do Lightning withdrawals from Bitcoin Well. So it might just be your state. But yes, that's another thing I like about Bitcoin Well, selfishly, is that they are, I mean, in Canada, there's no better exchange in terms of like the functionality, the capabilities, and what you can do on Bitcoin Well. But they're really focusing on Canada and the US. And I think that that's how, that's how I think people, especially in Canada or the US, should focus on. And then once you got that figured out, nailed, that's when you start expanding. So I have a lot of very high hopes for Bitcoin Well in the future. I think that they're going to do really, really well in this new economy that we're moving into. Bitcoin Amigos. I love the Bitcoin Amigo shows. A lot of fun. Sorry. Rick says, when announcing times for shows, don't forget to say the time zone. We are international here. 4 p.m. Eastern time in North American time. I don't know if that translates to Europe or not, but 4 p.m. Eastern time. Noster is the future of a lot of things. Yes. Bodhi says, Bitcoin, Rick says, smash the like, people, Joe, bringing the value for us. We're trying here. We're doing our best. That's for sure. And I don't think anybody could ever question that. We're doing our best. Okay, we caught up. Wow. How about Bitcoin? Well, compared to River? Both great. Both great. I can't use River. I've never used River, so I can't really give you a great answer to that. But people that I talk to in the US love both. So again, Bitcoin well, River, Strike, Bull Bitcoin. North America, that's what you want to be on. And try them for yourself. Everybody might have different use cases for it. People might value things differently. Some people might be willing to pay more of a fee if they're getting more features. Bitcoin well for me is the best. It has the best features and it has the lowest fee. So in terms of Canada, Bitcoin well, nobody compares to that. Bodhi says, I use both Bitcoin well. Okay, I use both and Bitcoin well, or I use both Bitcoin wells better. All right. Let's wind things up with, well, let's see what Jeff Booth said. I just saw that he replied. I'm going to get Jeff Booth on the show here at some point. Hopefully, if he comes on anyways. Okay, here's the exchange. This all happened on Noster today. So there's a fella named Laser. Maybe I'll clip this and put it as a maybe not. But I think that this is important because this is kind of what I've been talking about the whole show today. Kind of round things out well. So Laser made a post on Noster and he said, I can't listen to Whitney Webb tell us all the ways we were going to lose anymore. When I first started looking into monetary reset, it was to find out how we could win, how good households could navigate the coming storm, brutal optimism overcoming a naive, sleeping state. The playbook hasn't changed. Become expensive to tyranny. They will fail. Get out of the blast radius. Focus on your people. Do good. Mock evil. Trust God. That was the post. So I said, 100% agree. What a shitty fucking attitude. I stopped listening to her a long time ago. And I tagged Jeff. I said, as Jeff Booth says, it's not us versus them. There is no them. There is only us. And so Jeff Booth replied to that and said, she is right about how bad the system is and the risks from here, but unfortunately can't see how her own actions perpetuate it. I'm setting up a conversation with her to try to help. We all create our own reality that is real from our own perspective. So that's what we got to look forward to. Actually, it says later that it's probably not going to be a podcast. It's going to be just a conversation between them. But that's okay. It's true, though. And that's kind of what I was talking about this whole show today. Is like you can look at anything and find the bad in it very easily. Or you can look at it like, okay, well, I'm here now. I chose to be here now. Whether you believe that or not, you did. And I might as well just make the best of it, because the only thing more scarce than Bitcoin is time. And you can spend your whole life living in a doom cycle and in fear and full of negativity. Or you can find the bright and the hope and the good in people and in everything that happens to you. It's kind of up to you. That's a cool thing about it. It's completely up to you. And so I fully agree with what Laser said. I fully agree with what Jeff Booth talks about in terms of there is no them. And I've been guilty of this before myself. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a saint or perfect. I've been guilty of this myself, saying them. My dad always used to say when I was talking to him about Bitcoin and about the banks and about the pandemic, my dad always said, well, who's them? Who's they? And he turned out to be right, I guess, because there is no them. There is no they. There's us. That's it. And we get to decide what we make of life. in our own life. But if enough people are on the same page, moving in the same direction, then we go there, regardless of what else is happening. So that's, I think that's where we'll end it today. My Path to Fire says, I'm not understanding what she said and meant. Basically just like the fact that she has such a big platform and she focuses very much on like blackpilling people, like showing people how bad it is without giving any sort of solution. And even with Bitcoin, she finds bad things in Bitcoin. Of course, everything with Trump, with Bitcoin, everything has flaws. Nothing is perfect in the world. Nothing is. There's always going to be good. There's always going to be evil. But again, if you have good people, informed people, telling the truth, spreading the truth, going the same direction, then we win. We win. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great Friday today. I hope you show up for the Bitcoin Amigos show today. And that's it. Understand where we are. Understand the fact that there's going to be people 50 years from now, 100 years from now, even 10 years from now, who would give anything to be where you are right now. Anything. And so just understand that. And the last thing I'll say, kind of going off of this, is that, with the strategic reserve, with Trump doing things with the price of Bitcoin, everybody just wants things. Everybody wants it to be one day when Bitcoin's 10 million. Then you're going to be able to do whatever you want. You're going to be able to be happy at that point. And yeah, of course, Bitcoin hits $10 million. We're all going to be doing pretty well. But the time between then and now, that's what you need to be focused on. You need to be focused on getting as much as you can, giving as much as you can, and finding the good every single day. Because you have to remember that in 10 years from now, yes, the price of Bitcoin might be 10 million, it might be 100 million. You might be in a way better financially. You might be very well financially positioned, but you're also 10 years older. Your parents are 10 years older. Your dog's 10 years older or gone. So like, don't wish for this day down the road, just as if you're going to be happy at that point. Just enjoy everything that we have today. That's all that matters, honestly. So I hope you have a great day. I thank you very, very much for all the support, all the zaps today, for people showing up. It's fucking awesome. So have yourselves an amazing Friday today. I'm going to play Fat Zap Friday. If you do feel like sending a zap in, it might motivate you a little bit, or you can just enjoy one of my favorite songs, Fat Zap Friday. Ready? So join us today for the Amigos show, 4 p.m. Eastern time. And if you haven't yet, make sure you go check out make sure you go subscribe to the Bitcoin Amigos. It's free to do, and it would mean a lot to myself, Jerry, Chris, and the Bitcoin community itself. So thank you once again for the zaps, for the super chats, for showing up. And we'll see you at 4 p.m. Eastern time today. And hopefully Arnie will show up here when I say bye-bye. All right. Have yourselves a great day, a great Friday, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Zap's a king. Zap thing. Love. And the Bitcoin Amigos Friday stream. Energy high, it's like a dream. Music pumps the price higher. Chris, Jordan, Jerry inspired. It's Fat Zap Friday. You might zap less on any other day, but today is Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Real fat zaps coming in hot, spreading the love, hitting the spot. Yeah. Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. Community loves to show their support. Hype in the chat like it's a sport. Friday stream turned up to 10. Fat lightning strikes again and again. Fat Zap Friday. You might zap less on any other day, but today is Fat Zap Friday. Yeah. coming in hot, spreading the love, hitting the spot, yeah. Fat Zap Friday, yeah, yeah. Lightning from your fingertips, like a kiss from orange lips. Zap's a king, it's Zap's a king. It's a Zap thing, yeah. It's Fat Zap Friday. You might zap less on any other day, but today is Fat Zap Friday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Real fat zaps coming in hot, spreading the love, hitting the spot, yeah. Fat Zap Friday. Yeah, yeah. Zap's a king. It's a Zap thing. Zap's a king. Zap's a king. Zap's a king. It's a Zap thing. Zap's a king. It's a Zap thing. Zap's a king. Zap's a king. It's a Zap thing.
Paint the fence, sand the floor, stack the sats, stack some more. Amigos knocking on your door. It's Chris and Jerry, Satoshi and Joe. Not your keys, not your cheese. Amigos often say, eat your fill of the orange peel and never lose your way. Paint the fence, sand the floor, stack the sats, stack some more. Amigos knocking on your door. It's Chris and Jerry, Satoshi and Joe. Beans, coffee and biscuit. Satoshi was explicit. Study or you might miss it. Then prosperity will visit. Paint the fence, sand the floor, stack the sats, stack some more. Amigos knocking on your door. It's Chris and Jerry, Satoshi and Joe. Monkeys, pumas, hammers, and nails. Bitcoin amigos blazing a trail. Their integrity is never for sale. Amigos together can never fail. Paint the fence, sand the floor, stack the sats, stack some more. Amigos knocking on your door. It's Chris and Jerry, Satoshi and Joe. Amigos knocking on your door. It's Chris, Jerry, Satoshi and Joe.